pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. Tonight we're going to run this a little bit differently. So we're going to run our main city business meeting. As soon as that meeting is over, we'll adjourn, and then we will go into this Bear Aware program that we have set up following this regular meeting. So, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes of the November 1st meeting?
Yep.
Are there any additions or corrections? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Been moved by Jill, seconded by Dan. Question?
No.
Question?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anybody want to be out of state between now and 17th or so? Okay. Our unfinished business is a sewer project update. Jim or Kevin?
I'll get started, and Kevin, I'll give you the basics, and Kevin gives you the fine
Thank you.
details. I'm Jim Patterson with Dow. Kind of give you an update where we're at. Right now, we're in what I consider the red zone, football terms, but getting pretty close to the end here. So what we're doing now is doing some training with the city employees. We've got most of the plant up is built. The pumps were returned from the WAS, and the RAS pumps were returned, so we have a warranty in place on that. So they're in. That gentleman will be out here, the Weir gentleman will be out here Thursday to do some training with city employees. Today we had training on the screening, and yesterday also. Today we fired up the lift station and ran some water out of the overflow pond through the line and in through the screening system to show how the screening system was gonna activate and work during the process. All the city guys were showing how it works, all the different parameters they will be working with, how to adjust it, clean it, maintain it, and operate. You have before you today a pay estimate number 16 in the amount of about $400,000. Basically what this is just a cleanup of most of the items that they finally got. The big item, of course, was the pumps, the WAS and RAS pumps. They finished the piping inside the building. It's been painted. There are some minor things that they need to do. We're working out deep. Kevin can go over with you a little bit better about the detail with having West Tech come out and do some training, and when we're going to do the startup, whether we're going to run it manually for a while or not. They've got part of the drying bits before the cold weather hit, so they're working on 4 of them. There's 5 altogether. So they got 4 of them going. The idea that I get from them is they're going to probably try to work through the winter and get those done, depending on the weather. So we'll be keeping a close eye on them and making sure everything is done according to the specs. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Jim. Kevin?
Kevin Johnson with Dow. I'm the project manager for the project. I'm going to give you a Cliff Notes version of where we go from here. And in the interest of time, that's still going to take me a few minutes to walk through that. As Jim indicated, we're probably going to last 5% or so of the project. The major work items are the drying beds. There's a couple hundred yards of concrete left to pour out there on that. Startups on kind of 3 equipment items remaining, and then the big outstanding item is what we call the system integration, and that's essentially the computer programming, the control and monitoring system that will ultimately be part of the plant there. The issue we have there is they're not going to be able to get here. That's West Tech. That's part of their scope of supply. It's part of the contractor's job to coordinate that work. We missed windows in November, missed windows in December. Their next availability is February 6th. So we've got a month here, well, a month and a half or more, depending on when we actually get to the point where that's the last thing that has to happen before that part of the work can happen. So that's why Jim mentioned the possibility of running this thing in manual mode here. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So from a project completion standpoint, the construction contract time ends December 10th. And that's the number of calendar days the contractor had to complete the project. That's the number of days that we had budgeted to be on site to oversee the construction. So that's all accounted for December 10th. That's coming up right on us here shortly. So the provisions in the contract, the way it's set up is there's a $1,000 a day fee that goes along with every day that is incurred until substantial completion. So we will talk through that in the coming weeks. The December progress payment will come with a discussion as to whether those liquidated damages are upheld this time. So until construction contract time is added into the contract via a change order, that would be our limit. So we can discuss that further as we move forward on top of this. So there are costs the city will incur for every day beyond December 10th that the contractor is inside. As far as plant startup, I've been talking to all the different entities involved here to try to get a handle on what are the implications of running this in manual. I'll preface that with most every plant was run in manual mode for about 80 years here until we started adding elaborate control systems to our water and wastewater treatment plants. So the plant is fully capable of doing that. And so what we've been trying to do is just see what are the critical items that need to be handled to allow the plant to be under manual operation. So tomorrow we're going to walk through that in detail with the city and see where the city's comfort level is after we walk through all those details and basically step by step what would have to happen on a daily basis to run this without the control system. And when I say control system for this plant, about 99% of that control system is really monitoring what's going on. It doesn't really control whether water goes in and out of that plant. The alarms, the trending, the monitoring and recording of flows, very little monitoring and control that it does do. There's workarounds around all of it. So we're going to talk about that more in detail, and I can tell you in short, the consensus among ourselves, West Tech, is that there are more pros to doing that than there are waiting on and with nothing going. So I can explain that more detail tomorrow. Get together with Mike and Levi, Jack, whoever wants to be part of that conversation. So some of the issues there are the winterization that would have to take place, kind of a temporary operation to keep things thawed out. But I'm very concerned about that if we don't get things running here soon. I'd like to get June drained so we can take advantage of some winter weather as far as freeze and thaw, the things that help as far as the slide management will go. And we'd like to have a window opportunity to get the biology actually working in the plant before West Tech shows up to actually do the integration. We'll bang for the plant's been running for a while as far as that training and the actual program. So we'll talk through all that detail. So that's the physical side of putting this thing in operation and kind of the nature of mode. And then there's a contractual side of this that we have to very clearly spell out the responsibilities from the contractor versus the city. What we're trying to get to, what actually turns off the contract. Particular plant, it is simple enough to be able to run it. So we'll get into that more tomorrow. So Jim mentioned there's some additional training that needs to be part of that. We've done initial trainings on the lift station, but we didn't really do any training check, depending on how the contractor wants to do this and how they can get ready. We got West that could get some potentially. I think that's about it. Do you want to bring up any questions on that?
On the manual mode, you're gonna take more people out there at a time to run it, and one person still running it manual.
Probably doesn't have a whole lot of difference in that regard, as long as everything is working correctly.
Right.
You know, until you have something.
NSF checks or fees that the bank is charging the city of Choteau. A resolution to adopt a city policy regarding the fees charged to the city on any payment to the city of Choteau, Montana. Whereas the city of Choteau is charged non-sufficient fund fees and or return check fees on payments made to the city by the city's bank when a payment is declined. Be resolved by the city council of the city of Choteau, Montana, that the following policy on such fees shall be instituted. For any payment made to the city, including but not limited to payments for services provided by the city, payments for civil or criminal fines, if a check or payment is declined by the city's bank, resulting in bank fees charged to the city, and said fees will then be charged to the payor and added to the amount owing to the city of Choteau.
Riding mower in the parks, and that worked really good, better than the sweepers. The leaf vacuum, kinda limped through the season. We currently have it all tore down, gonna rebuild the motor and rebuild the impeller and get it balanced and get it back together. Number two, I called the DEQ today on our open cut mining permit for the gravel pit. And it's still under review. I should hear something on Thursday on it. The lady at DEQ said, they don't usually approve them on the first go around, so I expect we'll get it back. We did install a new gate up there at the gravel pit, so we can secure it now. Keep working on the alleys, the edges of the roads. Lindsay came back for a couple days and helped do some grading on that. I spent a fair amount of time with Jim and wastewater treatment plant. We've been out there on a couple of city trainings now, as Kevin was mentioning. Our city shop improvement projects moving along. We finally got our door from Teton Lumber and we got it installed, and we now have a primary garbage truck, skid steer, a roller, backhoe, front end loader, 2 of our pickups, and the plow truck are all inside heated space, so that's good. We also have, is it the general dump truck, that's inside now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we have 1 dump truck and a secondary garbage truck are in cold storage now, out of the weather, so. That's gonna help a lot. We did get the cardboard compactor moved around to the recycling area, and I think that's working pretty good. We had a little learning curve on it for a few days. The change kind of confused people. We installed the LED light over there, and we've got pretty much everything together except for some chimney pipe to change out that wood stove and get it up to code for heating the shop. While it was warm, we got the new valve exerciser out, and started using it, exercising the main.
Informative, we got civil discussion this evening.
We can raise the bear in town, so.
Right. Harold Yeager had asked to be on the agenda for bear awareness and some other stuff about our little furry friends, so when we're done with this segment of the meeting, we will adjourn our business meeting. If anybody wants to get up and take a stretch or whatever, then we will start in on the bear meeting. So, having that, is there any other business?
Is there any public comment, just for him?
Copy of, is there any public comment on what we just went through as far as our city business? Mr. Dillon.
How does that cardboard deal now? You got your crushing deal, but then you got another bin there for cardboard.
That's, if there's a bale made or, and it's full, and no one's around there to get the bale out. And it's for people who can't physically get cardboard in there and operate the.
Okay, well, I just
We
wondered.
prefer people put it in there, push the button, handle it once and stuff. But we realize there are people that can't do that, so we put a bit in there.
Now my sister's got great boxes down at the liquor store. I dumped a bunch there just in that bin the other day, so. They were all broken down, torn down, but. Going back when the lid was shut. Push the wrong button, blow it up.
It's pretty safe. There's a new set of instructions right there.
So you're expected to read a little bit, Charlie.
Yeah, that's what the only. That's what I
It's only
said.